Hi, my name is Kendra and I'm with Back on Track Equine Therapy and Saddle Fitting in Arizona. And today I want to talk to you about how gullet width and bar angle work together. A lot of times people have a wider horse and they want a wider saddle. But what is a wider saddle? You have two different measurements that aren't always taken into consideration. Not only do you have your gullet width, which does this to make it wider, but you also have your bar angle, which starts out like this. And if you need a wider angle, you have to go like this, like this, like this. If you need a narrow angle, then you bring it back down, 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 okay? This is what is underneath our saddles, okay? This is the saddle tree. And our saddle trees are under all this sheepskin and leather, so it's kind of hard to get super accurate measurements when the saddle's already built. So all we can do is do our best and hope that the company knows their measurements. This is the bars of your saddle here. This would be your cantle for your seat, back of your seat, and then the front is your swells. These are the swells. Some people in English call it your pommel. So when you put this on your horse, you want as much contact as possible with the bars on your horse's back, but you don't want this tree to sit on your horse's spine, okay? So when you put this on the horse, it should feel nice and smooth. You should be able to put your hand just barely underneath and no lumps or bumps. It's just a nice smooth feel all the way across. This is what the tree looks like in the raw. So when you measure gullet width, you're basically measuring from here to here. And so with all this leather and sheepskin, it's kind of hard to get a super accurate gullet width measurement in our saddle when it's already made. But you measure from here to here, or sometimes there's screws in the saddle, so you can measure screw to screw. Or my favorite thing to say is from top of concho to top of concho. So I'll show you how to do that. Your bar angle is this part right here that's changing. It's either gonna go more this way or it's gonna go more this way to make it wider. That one's harder to visualize for me holding this, but if you had a wider bar angle, it would end up coming up more and going out more that way, okay? I have two saddles here. They're on opposite ends of the spectrum. This one's an 8-inch gullet. This one's a 6 1/4 inch gullet. When you measure these, you would want to measure for gullet width, top of concho to top of concho on the inside of the sheepskin, okay? Measure bar angle. I sell these protractors, and you want to find the front of the bars. So the front of the bars is this section. These are the front of your bars. So this is basically this right here, or on this saddle, this right here, okay? This saddle, when we measure the bar angle, same thing. The really wide ones are harder to measure because the protractor just only goes so wide. If you found a wider, longer protractor, you'd have a little bit better luck getting a better measurement, but this is still going to be pretty close. I'm still making contact with the bars as best I can over here on each side. And for this saddle, I get about 98 degrees, okay? So this one is an 8-inch gullet, 98 degrees. That one's a 6 1/4 inch gullet, about 83 degrees. So I made these cards myself, and I feel like they give a pretty decent visual on what's going on with your saddle here. So the sides here is your bar angle. That's the sides of your bars, okay? I take this card away. This is your gullet width from here to here. Bar angle, gullet width, okay? Now these two cards specifically are a 90-degree bar angle with a 7-inch gullet. This is the size saddle that all the companies are going to. And it's not necessarily great measurements for a lot of horses. When you are measuring your bar angle and your gullet width, what's happening is gullet width does this. Boom, boom. That's wider, wider. Narrower, boom, boom. Okay? Bar angle does this. Boom. Narrower goes this way, wider goes this way, and then wider again. Okay. Okay, so let's say your horse needs a 6.5 inch gullet with a 90-degree bar angle. Okay, that would be this card. Okay, if you have all these cards together, these are all 6.5 inch gullet, different bar angles. So top card is 6.5 inch gullet, 80-degree bar angle. Middle card, 6.5 inch gullet, 90-degree bar angle, which is what your horse needed. And then the back card is 6.5 inch gullet, 100-degree bar angle. Okay, so you can see that they're all the same up here, but the difference is in here. You have a little bit. It usually starts right underneath where you measure your gullet width. It starts to get a little wider, a little wider, a little wider, and it gets wider and wider as you go to the bottom of the bars. Your horse needed 6.5 inch gullet, 90-degree bar angle, right? So if I put on a saddle that's a 6.5 inch gullet, 80-degree bar angle, you can see here that it's going to pinch your horse's sides here. Where the bars sit on your horse, it's going to pinch them, and they're going to have high pressure points all along the bars here because it's just too narrow, and it's probably going to sit higher than it's supposed to as well. And so then now your saddle has a bunch of air, and you sit like air, meaning like it's sitting up too high on your horse. So now say you put on the 6.5 inch gullet with the 100-degree bar angle. Remember, your horse needs 90-degree bar angle. When you do that, now you have all this extra space here for your horse. The gullet width is correct, but now the bar angle's too wide because now it's not going to fit snug because you want the bars to fit snug up to your horse. Now it's going to sit a little bit further out, and then the saddle's going to want to fall forward. It's going to want to do this. So it'll be sit on your horse, and then it's going to want to go like this on your horse because the angle's too wide, and the bars are trying to find somewhere where they can fit snugly to, and there's just nowhere to go. So then what happens is it starts to fit snugly up here. And so then when you go to cinch this up, if it's too wide, now you're going to have high pressure points at the top part of your saddle, by these conchos especially, by your horse's withers. If the saddle you put on your horse is too narrow, you're going to go and put it on your horse. Instead of it just going nice and flat like that onto your horse's back, it's going to go like this, and then it's going to sit up here, and it can't go all the way down. It gets caught up on the bars, usually on the bottom of the bars. Now you have contact at the bottom of the bars with your horse, but not at the top of the bars. That'll cause pressure points at the bottom of the bars, and this saddle is going to look like it's up above your horse's back. Now that we have a better understanding of gullet width and bar angle, I want to recap back to the beginning of the video where someone told you you need a wider saddle for your horse. Well, does your horse need a wider gullet width or a wider bar angle? If your horse is built more this way in his front end, you need a wider gullet width. If your horse is built more this way in his shoulders, you need a wider bar angle. Now we can go on the other side of the spectrum. You're told you have a narrow horse. You need a smaller tree in your saddle. Well, do you need a narrower gullet width or a narrower bar angle? If your horse is built more this way in her front end, you need a narrower gullet width. If your horse is built more this way in her shoulders, you need a narrower bar angle. So hopefully that answers some questions. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like this video, comment any questions you have, follow us on Facebook, and you can always reach out to me, and I'll get back to everyone as soon as I can.